recognize where is the middle point. So that middle point, it has to make a guess because it doesn't know how to do it. Right? So this is not going to be a deterministic context-free language. And in the second language L2, because it knows what is the middle point, it can always, as it keeps on getting the symbol, so all the symbols in W will be pushed, and when it encounters hash, it will just make a change of state, and then it keeps on popping the symbol. So there is a middle point which is known to PDA with the encountering of hash symbol, right? So then it starts matching, and hence this can be, or you can design a deterministic PDA for this language L2. And if you look at L3, this is not a context-free language. This is not a context-free language which we have proved using the pumping lemma. So just look at the statements. L1 is a deterministic CFL. This is false. L2 is a deterministic CFL. This is true. And L3 is a CFL. L3 is not a CFL, so this is false. L3 is a deterministic CFL. L3 is not at all a CFL, so this is false. So B is the right choice for us. Now we have L1, a language in which we have A's followed by B's and followed by C's. In L1, A's and B's are equal, and in L2, B's and C's are equal. Now, which one of the following statement is false? Now look at this. L1 intersection L2. When you go for L1 intersection L2, the strings in L1 intersection L2 will be like this. Strings in L1 are equal number of A's and B's, any number of C's, and strings in L2 is B's and C's are equal. So for a language to be in L1, for a string to be in L1 intersection L2, they should be in this format: A power equal number of A's, B's and C's. When you consider this, this is not going to be a context-free language. So this statement is false. And all other statements, if you see, L1 union L2 is a context-free language. So because this is a CFL and this is a CFL, and context-free languages are closed under union operation. Similarly, L1 and L2 are context-free languages because you can always check the number of A's with B's, and in L2 you can check the number of B's with C's. Then L1 and L2 are context-free languages, so this is okay, this is okay, and L1 intersection L2 is a context-sensitive language. This is true. Later we will see what is context-sensitive languages. So only the other thing is this is false because this is not a context-free language. You cannot design a PDA for this. There is no PDA for this. Then answer is A. So next, there are to let NF and NP denote the classes of languages accepted by non-deterministic finite automata and non-deterministic push-down automata. So NF is NFA and NP is non-deterministic PDA, NPDA, and let DF and DP denote the classes of languages accepted by deterministic finite automata and deterministic push-down automata. That DF means it is a class of languages accepted by DFA, and another one is DP, that is deterministic PDA. Which one of the following is true? The first statement says that DF is a subset of NF. This is wrong because if you look at this NF, this is true. Is a subset R equal to is not there. So DFA is a subset of NF is false because both are equal in power, because if you have seen NFA and DFA, every NFA will have an equivalent DFA. That is, I can always say that any DFA you take and any NFA you take, the class of languages accepted will be same. So A and B are false, right? Then I'll go for C and D. When you look at C and D, DF equal to NF, this is true, but I have to go for this two. In the third answer, or in C choice, he said DP equal to NP, that is, deterministic PDA is equal to non-deterministic PDA, the set of languages. But this is not true, because there are certain languages for which you can design only non-deterministic PDA, but you cannot design a deterministic PDA. For example, the set of strings, the set of string of palindromes, the language of palindromes can always be accepted by a NPDA. You cannot design a DPDA. So this is false. So D is true. NFA and DFA are equal in power, whereas DPDA is a subset of NPDA. That means for every DPDA by default is NPDA, but there are some NPDAs for which you cannot find the equivalent DPDA. Then consider the following statements about the context-free grammar. So a grammar is given S to SS, S to AB, S to BA, then S to epsilon. So there are three statements. G is ambiguous. G produces all strings with equal number of A's and B's, and G can be accepted by a PDA. Then which combination below expresses all the true statements about G, about the grammar G? Now if you look at the first statement, G is ambiguous because of this. So S to SS will make the grammar as ambiguous, because you can generate AB. Suppose I want to generate AB, I can generate like this. Simple, I am taking the simple statement S to SS, and I will replace this with AB and this with epsilon. So AB. So AB is generated like this. Now S to SS. Now I will generate this S with epsilon. So I remain with S and then AB. If you draw the tree, you will have something like this. This is epsilon and this is A. The other one is like this. You will have S to S, yes. Then this is A, this is B, and this is epsilon. So two different derivation trees. So this is going to be ambiguous. G produces all strings with equal number of A's and B's. If you look at this, every S is giving you AB or BA. Every time you substitute S with any terminal string, then it is going to be 1A and 1B and 1B, 1A. Right? But the thing is, if you look at this, you may get equal number of A's and B's, but you may not get something like this. So you can get AB or you can get BA, but you cannot get two A's continuously. So your second statement is false. G can be accepted by PDA, because this is a context-free grammar. It can be accepted by PDA. So what do I get? Now I get only the statements 1 and 3 are true. 2 is false, because even though it generates equal A's and B's, but not all strings cannot be generated. But the strings generated in G will have equal number of A's and B's, but not all. All the things you cannot get, because if you see this, you cannot find in the grammar. So your answer is B. Only 1 and 3 are correct. Then we have a language 0 power I to 1 power I. over the alphabet 0, 1, 2. Now if you look at this, actually this you have to deal in other thing. Okay, but no problem, we'll go for this. The strings in the language are, you will have some number of zeros followed by only a single 2 and the same number of ones, that is n number of zeros and n number of ones separated by one symbol, that is 2. If you look at this, this is going to be a context free language and is deterministic. Why? Because the middle point is always marked with the 2. So this is going to be always a deterministic context free language. So what we can see, this is not going to be a regular language because you need to check the number of zeros and number of ones. So this is a deterministic CFL and is going to be recursive also, because later we will see what is recursive. So this is going to be recursive and is a deterministic context free language. So your option B is true. Next, now we have a language L1 equal to 0 power n plus m, 1 power m, 1 power n, 0 power m. That is, we have the number of zeros at the beginning is equal to number of ones plus number of zeros. And another language is 0 power n plus n, 1 power n plus m, that is zeros and ones are equal, and we have 0 power m, right? Some number of zeros, whatever it is. And L3, 0 power n plus m, 1 power n plus m, 0 power n plus m. Now which of these languages are not context free? Now if you look at L1, the number of zeros is 0 power n plus m. That means you keep on pushing all the zeros into the PDA and then 1 power n. So you can compare this number of ones with the pushed zeros in the stack, followed by once again zeros, and these zeros with the other available zeros. If this and these two are equal, then you can declare, so you can design a PDA for this. So this is going to be a context free language. Next, L2. If you look at L2, I have 0 power n plus m, then 1 power n plus m and 0 power m. So the number of zeros and the number of ones, number of zeros and number of ones, and 0 power m. That is, if there are, suppose m equal to 2, you will have 2 zeros, and n equal to 2, let us say 2, and I'll consider n equal to 3, 3 plus 2, 5, and this 2, then 0 power n plus m. That means this is ones, 5 ones, then 2 zeros and 5 zeros. So these two should be equal, and you should consider that m number of zeros. Hence, for this you cannot design a PDA. You cannot design a, even though you can check this and this are equal, but you have some other value m, and this can be some value, but you need to check that value with this m, n plus m. So this is not going to be PDA. And for L3, if you check L3, you need to check 3 times. These zeros, ones and zeros, that is 0 power n plus m, 1 power n plus m and 0 power n plus m. So this is not going to be contextual, because you can check this and this number, but to check this there will be nothing on the stack. You cannot compare, or you cannot check the strings in this language with a single stack, and hence this is not going to be context free. So which is not context free? So L3 is not context free and L2 is not context free. So your L2 and L3 are not context free, right? So only L1 is context free. These two are not context free. You cannot check it. Next, which of the following statements are true? Every left recursive grammar can be converted to a right recursive grammar and vice versa. Now, if you look at this, I think we have not seen recursive grammar. Left recursive grammar means something will have something like this: A to A left recursion, A to A alpha. We have converted this into the usual. We have eliminated this, and you can do something. So which says that you can eliminate left recursion and you can convert it into right recursive grammar and vice versa. So this is true. Second one. All epsilon productions can be removed from any context-free grammar. So this is true. The language generated by context-free grammar, all of whose productions are of the form x to w and x to wy, where w is a string and y is a non-terminal, is always regular. So if you look at the definition of a regular grammar, it says that the productions are of a to x or a to xb. The productions are here. And this is a right linear grammar, and every right linear grammar is regular, so this is true. Then fourth statement, the derivation trees of strings generated by a context-free grammar in Chomsky normal form are always binary trees. This is true. So all four statements are true, so you can go for option A, because you can see everything we have seen. A left recursive grammar can always be converted to right recursive grammar, and every statement is true. So you have to be thorough with concepts in order to answer such type of questions. And consider the languages L1. So we have number of zeros followed by number of ones and I not equal to j. Some zeros followed by some ones where zeros is not equal to 1, then L2. Zeros equal to 1, then L3. 0 power I, 1 power j, where I equal to 2j plus 1. Right? So then L4, we have L4 also. L4 equal to 0 power I, 1 power j, where I is not equal to 2j. So if you look at this, for the first one, I not equal to j, we have we can go for only two types of strings will be available in L1. So L1 is a combination of two things. One is number of ones is more, other one is number of zeros is more. So we have seen this, and L1 is a context-free language. If you want, you can generate the grammar for this, right? But I am not going for it because we have already done for this. Either it should be greater than number of zeros or greater than number of ones, right? Then if you look at L2, I equal to j, so you can go for a context-free grammar for this. It is very easy. 0s1, 0s1 or epsilon. This will give you this grammar. Similarly, 2j plus 1. So 1 extra, and every I with 2, double the number of zeros. For this also you can generate the context-free grammar. And now I is not equal to 2j. That means I is less than 2j, I is greater than 2j. So you can also always design a context-free grammar for this. Right. So if you look at this, all are context-free. It's going to be context-free, right? So everything is, so only new thing is we have not discussed the L4 language, but because all are in linear relation, you can always design PDA for these things. Next, match all items in list 1 with correct options from those given in list 2. This in this question something is asked out of this. He has combined compiler design subject with the TOC. So if you look at this, regular expressions are used in lexical analysis, and push down automata is used in syntax analysis, and data flow analysis is used in code optimization, and register allocation is used in code generation. He has combined the theory of automata and compiler design. So our correct option is P3. So P3, then P3 and Q1, P3 Q1. So P3 Q1, P3 Q1. So this P3 Q1. This is P3. So B is going to be correct. P3 Q1. Then later you have data flow analysis R4, and then S2 code generation. Right. So your option B is correct. Next. We have been given with a grammar. The language generated by the above grammar over the alphabet A comma B is the set of. This grammar we have already seen. It is always giving you same symbol at both ends. Whenever you use yes, this two, it is always giving you, or it is always adding one symbol in the beginning, one symbol at the end, which are same. And this yes, when replaced once again, it will do the same thing. And in the middle, when you want to end your derivation, for example, look at this. Suppose I use ASA. Then next, if I use ASA once again, you will get suppose I use BSB, then ABSB. See, same thing is added, and this derivation will end with either this or this. So what do you get is AB. So in the middle you will see A or B, and this is going to be same symbol. So this is a language of palindromes with one symbol in the middle, either A or B, and hence this is all odd length palindromes you get over the alphabet A comma B. Next. P is a regular language and Q is a context-free language, such that Q is context-free language is a subset of P. Subset are equal to P. That is, your context-free language is a subset. For example, let P be the language represented by the regular expression P star Q star, and Q, P power n, Q power n. This is equal to P. You can make P as 0 and Q as 1, then you will get 0 star 1 star or A star B star. Then which of the following is always regular? If you look at P and Q, you see sigma star minus P. What is sigma star? Sigma star is all strings over A comma B, and now you can see P. P is a regular language. When there is a regular language, we have a regular language, and now sigma star minus P is nothing but P dash, or the complement of P. Now because the regular languages are closed under complementation, so this is always going to be a regular language. So what he has asked is, which of the following is always regular? This is always going to be regular. This can be regular or need not be regular, and all other things the same thing, right? So if you go for Q dash, this may not be regular, but this is going to be always. So your option is C. Next. Which of the following languages are context free? You can see A power M, B power N. So A power M, first language L1. In the first language you will have A power M, B power N, then A power N, B power M. So if you want to design PDF for this, you can go for this. You can push A's and then you can push B's. Then these A's can be checked with this B's which you have pushed. Then you can check these A's with this B's using your push down automata. So this is going to be a context free language. You can check it, or you can design a PDF, or you can design a context free grammar also. L2, if you see A power M, B power N, then A power M, B power N. This is what you have seen is XX type, same string concatenated. So we have proved that the language of this is not context free using our pumping lemma. So this is not a context free language. Then what about the other one, L3? A power M, B power N, and M equal to 2N plus 1. This you can always check with a stat. So only L2 is not context free. Which are the following languages are context free? So L1 and L3 are context free. L1 and L3 are context free. Next, which one of the following grammars is free from left recursion? You look at option A, S to AB, A to AA. So this is having left recursion. So this is not free from left recursion. So our A option is containing left recursion. So this is not correct. Then second option, S to A, S to B, then A to B, and B to epsilon. So there is no left recursion in S productions, and so there is no left recursion here. Right? And if you look at this S to AA, S to B, and you need not check. Suppose sometimes there may be more than one choice. So what you need to check the other thing. S to AA and A to BB, B to D, but A to S is there. So S to A to S on the left hand side of the production. So in two steps you can get left recursion in S. So S to A, suppose you use S to AA and A to SC in your derivation. Then what happens? You have left recursion, right? So this has left recursion. So S to AA, B to B, then A to B, B to A. You can see A to B, then B to A, right? So you get left recursion for A productions, right? So this is also containing left recursion. So the thing that is free from left recursion is B. Now we have two context free grammars, G1, S to AS or B, then B to B or BB, then G2, S to AA, BB. So some grammar is given. Let me see what is the question. Which one of the following pairs of languages is generated by G1 and G2? So we need to check what is the language generated by G1 and G2. If you look at the productions of G1, so S has S to AS or S to B. So if you go for S to AS, it always gives you AS. Suppose you use once again, you get AAS. If you use once again, you get AAS. That means your S can produce, and whenever you want to use this, then AAA and S to B can be used. And what is B? B is producing 1B or any number of B's. At least one B will be there. So what you are doing is you can get 0 A's. Suppose you use directly S to B, then there will be no A's. That means you can get some number of A's, that is A power M, where M is greater than or equal to 0. This is greater than or equal to 0. But for the case of B, it can have any number but at least 1, that is it is greater than 0. So this is your option for G1. For G1 you have M greater than or equal to 0 and N is greater than 0. So this is for G1, these two are true. Now let me go for grammar G2. For G2, S2 AA or BB. So at least 1A or 1B will be there. Suppose you use S2 AA, you get 1A compulsory. And let us see what are the productions of A. The productions of A are AA, AA, or you can go for B. That means this A can give you any number of A's and B, or epsilon also, right? So this can be epsilon or some number of A's, where you use it in some number of times, some number of A's, and when you want to end this A, you can have 0 B's or you can go for any number of B's. That means you have some number of A's and including 1, at least 1 will be there if you use this production. So 1A will be there followed by some number of B's. Suppose you use this production, you have at least 1B. So if you use this production, you will have at least 1A followed by any number of B's. Some years. And here if you go to B, you can have at least 1B, you can have at least 1B, then followed by any number of B's. So you can have 0 B's also. So A power M, B power N, where this can be 0 number and this can be in 0 number. So what we have is A power M, B power N. One option should be like this, otherwise you don't get the correct thing. Either A power M, B power N, M greater than 0 or N greater than 0. Because if you get B's, 1B will be compulsory here, right? So if you use S to BB, 1B is compulsory and there will be no A's. If you use this, 1A is compulsory and you can have no B's. That means in any case, either A or B should be present. That means M greater than 0 or N greater than 0. This is what I have. Right? So option D is correct. So what you need to do is you need to check what is the each variable is generating. What is the nature of the string each variable is generating. Now this is a little bit question is lengthy but simple answer. A student wrote 2 context-free grammars G1, G2 for generating a C-like array declaration. We don't bother about what it will generate. Now look at this. 2 grammars are written by a person. The grammar uses D as the start symbol. Start symbol is this, and use 6 terminal symbols. So we don't bother about it. So which of the grammars correctly generate the declaration mentioned above? So this declaration, that is this, should be derived. Whether can you derive this from G1 or can you derive this from G2 or from whatever. So we just check whether it can be derived from it or not. If I use, so I have to start from D, so I can generate D. I'm checking for G1. I can generate int L. What is L? L is giving ID. ID means A. Then this and E. What is E? E can have number close bracket or number close bracket then open and another E. Right? So if you look at this, you can generate this entire string. For example, I will tell you D2 int L, then this L substituted with this ID means A. then this. Then next I will use this, right? This. Then next I will use this. Then you get this. Similarly, if I go for this grammar G2, suppose I use int L first, then L is ID. So int in place of L I will get ID, and then E, and E, if you look at E, E can give you E number. So I'll just say ID E number. Then once again you can have number. So int A, then I can get this. So this string can be generated by both G1 and G2, right? So you can see that both G1 and G2 can generate the string. If you want to see, you can see, for example, I am using G1. Let me see. I am using G1. So D2, P is the starting symbol, int L, and this L I am replacing with ID. ID means A. ID, then E. Then this E I will replace with int A. This E I will replace with this num, close bracket, open, then E. Then once again in place of this E I will use this production. So I will get int A num, then num means number, right? So 10, 3. So this can be generated by both the grammars. So your option is A. Both grammars can. Now we have a transition diagram of a PDA. Which one of the following is true? What is the language accepted by the PDA? Let us see the language accepted by the PDA. It is starting here, and this itself, the starting state itself is the final state. So because starting state itself is the final state, epsilon will be accepted here. That is, null string will be accepted here. Now let me see what happens with the other things. AX, XX, AX, XZ. Z is the initial stack symbol. Z is the initial stack symbol. So when you are reading A's and you are in the starting state, and X is pushed onto the stack. So whenever you see A's and A's and A's, you are reading those some symbol X onto the stack. So any number of A's, some n number of A's, n number of X's are pushed onto the stack. Now let me see what happens if I see B and top of the stack is X. That means there must be the top of the stack is X. Then that X is removed. X slash epsilon means X is removed and nothing is pushed. That means this B is erasing one X. B is erasing one X from the stack. Now when you come to this state, another B and top of the stack is X, it is removed. That means one B is erasing one X from the stack. That means in other words, one B is compared with one A. B and A are compared, right? But once you see B, we are changing the state and we are accepting only B's in the input. That means first we get all A's which are pushed, then B's are compared with A's. And when epsilon and stack is Z, that means this is initial stack symbol. That means all B's and are compared with A's. Then when top of the stack is Z, then I am coming to a final state. That means I have A's and B's in equal number, and epsilon is also accepted. So what I am doing is now is A power n, B power n with n greater than or equal to 0, right? So L equal to A power n, B power n, n greater than or. This is my language, and is not accepted by any finite automata. You cannot accept this because this language is not regular. So A is true. Now what about B? L equal to A power n union A power n, B power n. Let me check. only A's are given, so you can accept epsilon, and only A's are given, you just keep on pushing and you are in final state. So this language is also accepted union this language. So this is going to be wrong, right? Because you can also accept only A's, because you are always in final state. So only A's are accepted. If at all B's are there, that should be equal to F1 and is not accepted by any deterministic PDA. This can be accepted by deterministic PDA because once you see B, you can change the state and you are only seeing B's. And there is no combination which will make you to go, it will make you a choice. So this can be accepted by a deterministic PDA. So this is deterministic context free and your language is this. So your option D is correct. Okay? Because initial state is also final state. You can accept any number of years. Acceptance by final state. Next. Which of the following languages generated by the given grammar? Yes to yes. This is a straightforward question. We have designed context grammar for this. This will always generate any strings of A's and B's. So this one. You can generate any strings of A's and B's. Next. Language L1 is defined by the grammar S1. S1 to A, S1, B, R, epsilon. Then L2 is S2 to A, B, S2, epsilon. Consider the following statements. So for that we have to see what is L1 and what is L2. He is saying L1 is regular and L2 is regular. Let me check what is S1. S1 is what is my L1? L1 is so A, S1, B. You use this n number of times, you always get A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B, and only thing is S2 epsilon. This can be vanished only with epsilon. That means you always get A, B, A, B, A, B, and so on. That means you have A power n, B power n for n greater than or equal to 0. Look at this. This language is not regular. That we have proved using pumping lemma for regular language. Now let me see what is S2. That is L2. The language L2. In the language L2, what you have is AB, S2. Suppose that S2 once again replaced with AB, S2, then you will get another AB, and at last you need to end your derivation with epsilon. That means you will get AB repeated some number of times, any number of times. So AB star. Now look at this. This is a regular language. So your L2 is regular, but L1 is not regular. So which one of the following is true? Both P and Q are true? No. P is true, but Q is not true. P is true and Q is false. So B is your right choice. Sorry. P is false. L2 is regular. L1 is A power and B power. L1 is wrong. L1 is regular is wrong and L2 is regular. So P is false and Q is true. Right? Consider the following languages: A power n, B power m, C power n plus m. So L1 is context free because you can push to check the strings. You can push A power n, B power m, then C power n plus m. You can design a context free grammar, or you can go for pushing. Just push A's onto the stack, then B's onto the stack, and compare C's with B's, then followed by A's in the stack. If they are equal, then you can accept the PDA. Then The other one is a power n, b power n, c power 2n. If you compare a power n and b power n, say if these two are compared, you cannot go for c as number of c's whether they are equal to a 2n or not, because by the time you compare this, your stack is going to be empty, and hence this is not context free. Both L1 and L2 are context free. This is wrong. L1 is context free, so your L1 is context free, but L2 is not context free. L1 is context free while L2 is not context free. So B is correct. Next, consider the following context free grammars over the alphabet ABC, where with S and the start symbol. Now you can see the grammar is S2AB, SCT, then ABCT. If you look at this T productions, just look at the T productions. What T productions are giving you is one B followed by B followed by any number of B's. One B is compulsory, right? So this is your B. This is T. T can always give you B, B star. So this variable T, right? Now I will see what happens with S. So I have to get a grammar, general format of the strings in the grammar for this grammar of the language generated by this grammar. Suppose I use S to A, B, C, then T. Then what do I get? T is always giving you B, B star. So what I get is A, B, C, B, B star. That means B power M, where M is greater than or equal greater than 0 or greater than or equal to 1, right? So 1B is compulsory by this, right? Next, if I go for S2 AB, S, C, T. Next, suppose I use S to this once again, then what do I get? AB. Now once again I will get AB, S. In place of this S, I am writing AB, S, AB, S, C, T. AB, S, C, T, and followed by C, T. Right? This AB, AB. You see C, T, C, T. Suppose you use this once again, then you get AB, AB, then AB, then you get C, T, C, T, C. This is what you get. That means for B you have B, B star or B power M for M greater than equal to 0. So you have C, T, C, T whole power N, right? And at least one time it is there, right? And you have ABs. So some number of ABs. Now look at this. AB whole power N. So AB whole power N. How many times you get? CT will be that many number of times. So what I have now is AB whole power N. So the strings, let me arrange this. So what I get now is AB whole power N, at least one time is available because there is no epsilon. AB whole power N and followed by C, followed by C. Now what is T? T is giving you B power M, whole power N, where M and N are greater than or equal to, this is what I got, this one. Right? So if you want, you can check. Continuous application of this will give you AB, CT, then AB, 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 then CT, 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 and so on. Right? You can see that. So your answer is C. Now, if G is a grammar with these productions, then which of the following strings is not generated by G? If you look at the grammar, you can see S2, SAS or ASB or BSA or SS. Let me see the first one, AB. Can I get AB? I'll get AB because this ASB can generate AB. And if you use S2, SS, then AB you can generate. Now if I see 3 AB, BA, I can get this CA you cannot get, I think, because AB or BA. Every time S is used, you can use AB or BA, and S2 epsilon. S2, SAS, you can get single A for this. Right? So this can also be generated AB, BA, E, because one A can be generated from this. Then triple AB, let me go for triple A. This also I can get, but I cannot get this strings of this format. AB, BA, I think I get AB, BA also because of S2, SS. If I use S2, SS, I can get this AB and BA. There is a pair, so you can always get AB or BA, and single B you cannot generate. If you look at this, single A can be generated, but you cannot generate single B. So this cannot be generated. Right? So option D is your answer, because you cannot generate. If you look at the productions of S, you can always see either you can generate AB or you can generate BA, and you can generate SS, AB or BA concatenated any number of times, or using this you can get single A. Suppose you use S2, SAS, then, and if this S and R, this S and S are replaced with epsilon, then you get single A. But there is no way you get single B. Right? There is no way that you get single B, and hence you can D cannot be generated by this grammar. If you see, the number of bis is always less than the number of less than or equal to. That is this grammar. Now, next is consider the following languages over the alphabet sigma equal to ABC. So your alphabet is ABC. Now what is your language? A power n, B power n, C power m, and L2. B's and C's are in L1, A's and B's are equal. In L2, B's and C's are equal. Which of the following are context free? If you look, union of the context free languages is always context free. We need not check. But when I go for L1 intersection L2, in L1 A's and B's are equal, and in L2 B's and C's are equal. So L1 intersection L2 is A's, B's and C's should be equal, and this is not a context free grammar, because context free language, because we have proved it using pumping lemma, or you cannot check this with a PDA with the help of a stack, and hence you cannot design a PDA for this. So your L1 intersection L2 is not context free. This is 2, not 1. So only 1 is context free, 2 is not context free. Next, let L1, L2 be any two context free languages, and R be any regular language. So R is a regular language, and we have been given with two context free languages. Then which of the following is R correct? For this type of questions, you have to be thorough with the all closure properties and other properties of the language. You see, the context free languages are closed under union. So this is correct. L1 bar is context free. Context free languages are not closed under intersection and complement. Right? So this is not correct. L1 minus R. If you look at L1 minus R, L1 is a context free grammar, and from that minus R you are removing all the strings which are from the. So L1 minus R is always context free, because everything in L1 is a context free language. Every string in L1 you are removing some of them, but still it is going to be a context free language. So this is going to be correct. Now L1 intersection L2, because they are not closed under intersection, L1 intersection L2 may be context free or may not be context free, and hence 1 and 3 are correct. So your option is B. Next, identify the language generated by the following grammar where S is the start variable. Okay, that you then did not specify that. So we have S to XY, then X to AXRA, and so on. If you look at the only production for S is S to XY. Now if you look at X variable productions, X can always give you either single A or AX, and so on. So any number of A's with at least one A. That means A power n, where n is greater than 0, because at least one is available. If you look at Y can give you, see, AYB. So AYB. Suppose you use this once again, then you get AYB. Only way to end this Y is epsilon. So what do you get? A, B. That is equal number of A's and B's. That means I am getting A power M, B power M, and you can also have 0 because of epsilon. That means M greater than or equal to 0. This is for Y. So Y generates A power M, B power M, where M is greater than or equal to 0. So what S can generate? S can generate strings of X and strings of Y, that is A power M, B power M, for M greater than or equal to 0, but N is greater than 0. So what do you get? We have number of A's is A power M, B power M is equal, and some number of A's which is greater than this. So what do you have now? Number of A's are greater than number of B's. And so A power M, B power N, with the M greater than or equal to N, greater than N, and N greater than 0. So this is what we have. A's will be greater, and you will have B's, M number of B's and M number of A's, and some other extra. See, N greater, this is N, so this should be greater than or equal to 0. So your C is correct, not N. Because of this greater than or equal to 0, N should be greater than or equal to 0. You can have 0 number of B's. So this is C. Consider the following languages. Which of the above are context free? A power M, B power N, C power P, D power Q, M plus P equal to N plus Q. This you can rewrite as M minus N is equal to P minus Q. So this can be checked with a PDA. Then A power M, B power N, C power P, D power Q, M equal to N, and P equal to Q. So this you can check with a PDA. So this is going to be a context free language. A power M, B power N, C power P, M equal to N equal to P, and P not equal to Q. This you cannot check with a PDA, because you check M with N, then you cannot check P. You check N with P, you cannot check with M, and P not equal to Q. Right? You cannot check these simultaneously, and hence this cannot be a context free language. And what about this mn equal to p plus q? There is no way for the PDA to go for multiplication, right? So you can check. So you cannot check this m and n, m into n. So what we have is these two are not context free. So only 1 and 2 are context free. 1 and 2 are context free. So that is the explanation. You can check later. Context-free languages and regular languages are both closed under the operations. What operations? You can see context-free languages are closed under union, they are closed under concatenation, but context-free languages are not closed under intersection. While regular languages are closed under union, they are closed under concatenation, they are closed under intersection also, but context-free languages are not closed under intersection, and hence CFL and regular languages are both closed under 1 and 3. 1 and 3. So this is your answer. Next, L1 equal to, this is not a, you can check L1, this is not a context free grammar and not about context free grammar. So you can see L2 equal to A power 2n, B power 2n, C power 2n. These two, now you see L1, L1 is any A's, A, B, C, or A square, B square. A square means 2 A's, B square 2 B's, C square means 2 B's. Then you have A, 3 A's, 3 B's, and 3 C's, and so on, including greater than or equal to 0, null string also. What is L2? Strings in L2, n greater than or equal to 0, so you get null string, and when n equal to 1, you get 2 A's, n equal to 2, 4 A's, and so on. That means you get even number. 2n means even number. Then next L3. L3 you get null string. Then in n equal to 1 you get A square, B square, C. Then in n equal to 2, A4, B power 4, then C square, and so on. You see L1 is a subset of L2. L1 is a subset of L2. Yes. You can see L1 contains, L1 is a subset of L2. No, this is not true, right? L1 is a superset of L2. So you can see L2 is a subset or equal to L1 because you have even number in A square, B square, C square, A4, B4, C4, and so on. Whereas L1 contains both even and odd, including null string. So your L2 is a subset of L1. So this is true. Then what about the relation between L2 and L3? L2 and L3, except null string, you cannot see there is, here you have equal number and here the number is related with some other linear number. So there is no relation between these two. So I can say that L2 is not a subset of L3 or vice versa. So this is going to be true for me. Right, so my answer is C. You can see that. Now, CFG is given. A to AS, AS to BS, AB. This is equivalent to the regular expression. This will give you any number of A's and B's with at least one A or one B. So what do you get now? It is nothing but you get any number of A's and B's with one A and one B. This is also the same regular expression because A plus B whole star, any number of A's and B's with one A and one B, one A or B. And this is true, this is true, and this is also true because A plus B whole plus means at least one A or one B will be there. So you have 2, 3, 4 are true. 2, 3, 4 are true. Next. So, wrong answer. You just uh, this is not D. This is 2, 3, 4. So answer should be B, not D. Answer should be B. You will get at least one A, one B, followed by any. Okay. A plus B whole plus. Next, 29. Consider L1 equal to 0 power n, 1 power n, and L2 is 0 power n, C 1 power n. So in only a minor change in L1 and L2, you have one C in the middle, in between zeros and ones. Now, if you look at the statements, which of the following statements are correct? L1 and L2 are accepted by non-deterministic PDA. Yes, they will be accepted, no problem. L1 and L2 are accepted by deterministic PDA. Yes, they can be accepted by deterministic PDA because it knows where to change the state in both the languages. Zeros will be pushed, and once it sees 1, it starts comparing. And similarly, when it sees C, it can do that. Only L2 is accepted by deterministic PDA, right? So 1 and 2 are correct. This 3 is not wrong because L1 can also be accepted. So 1 and 2. So we'll take a break here for 5 minutes and we'll continue. ఫ్రిడ్జ్ లో పెట్టలేదు Welcome back. Now consider the language L1 and L2. You can see A power n, B power m, C power n, D power m. Then A power n, B power m, C power m. Now look at this language can be compared, can be designed. You can design a PDA because you can push A's, then you can push B's, then compare them with C's, and then you can compare the D's this way. But when you go for L1, A power n, B power m, C power n, D power m. So you need to compare these two and these two. So if you push them, then you cannot compare these B's and D's because B should not be pushed, or you cannot push B's in order to compare with C's. But when you complete this comparison, you need to compare these D's with B's. So you cannot simultaneously check A's and C's, then B's and D's. So this you cannot design a PDA. So L1 cannot be recognized with a PDA, and so L1 is not a context free language. So L1 is not context free and L2 is context free. So your option is B. Next, if L1 is regular and L2 is CFL, over sigma star, which of the following statements is incorrect? L1 union L2 is CFL. This is correct because the union of regular language and context free languages is going to be a context free language, because union of every regular language is also a CFL, and hence CFLs are closed under union. So L1, when L1 is regular, means L1 is also context free language. I'll tell you later why it is. Then L1 intersection L2 is regular. If you look at this, the intersection of context free languages with regular languages is always context free language. Is always a context free language. Sorry, it is regular, not context free language, because context free languages are not closed under intersection, and hence it is regular but not context free. Next, L1 star is regular. When L1 is regular, L1 star is regular. So which one of the following is incorrect? So L1 L2 is regular. Okay. So none of the above is your answer. Okay. So D is correct. Not B, D. Right. Now, the following, it's not G of G, it is C of G. We have a grammar. So S2 AS, BS, EA, B. So what is this grammar? We have seen this grammar. This grammar will generate A plus B whole star, A plus B. Then S2 AS, BS, EA, B. Extra is lambda, that is null string. Some people will use lambda as null string. Then the language generated is equivalent to which regular expression? So you can see this will generate at least one A or one B, then any number of A's and B's, and this will generate null string also. So this is for first one and this is for second one, A plus B whole star, and this. So your answer is B. Then which of the following languages are context free? This is context free because you can check A's with B's and C's with D's. Then you can also check B's and C's and A's and D's by pushing A's and then B's and then comparing with them. This you cannot check with a PDA because you push and once you pop, you don't get the other one, right? So this is not context free. We have seen already in the previous. C power m, B power n, D power n. This is same as this. So these two are not context free. Which of them are context free means 1 and 2 are context free. 3 and 4 are not context free. The set A power n, B power n, A power n is an example of a language that is, so we have equal number of A's and equal number of B's. So A's and A's and then B's. So if you compare this, you cannot you cannot compare this, right? So this is an example of not context free. This is not regular, so this is not regular and this is not context free. So this is not context free. It's an example for not context free. This is same as A power n, B power n, C power n. Next. Which of the following languages over A, B, C is accepted by deterministic pushdown automata? If you look at this, there is no center mark for the PDA to change its state and compare the symbols in the palindrome. So this cannot be accepted by deterministic PDA. You should always have a guess for this. When you go for this also, it is also the same thing. Only thing is, this is even palindromes. This is the set of all palindromes. And when you go for this A power n, B power n, C power n, and this is not at all context free, so you cannot accept it. So deterministic PDA cannot accept this, and now here I have a center marker. So when you are here, you can push the symbols. Once you see C, then you change the state and then pop the symbol. So this can be accepted by a deterministic PDA, and these two always requires a non-deterministic PDA, and this no PDA will accept this because it is not context free. Which of the following statement must always be true for A and B? Suppose A and B are two sets of strings from sigma star such that means A and B are two languages such that B is a subset of A. Then if A is finite, then B is finite. So when superset is finite, B is a subset or equal to A. So if A is finite, then B is finite, so 1 is true. And 2, if A is regular, then B is regular. When A is regular, B is a subset of it, but it need not be regular. For example, if A is A star, B star, and B is A power n, B power n. Now this is a subset of this, but this is not regular. This is regular, this is not regular. So this is not true. This is not always true. If A is context free, then B is context free. If A is context free, then B is also context. Its subset is also context free. So 2. Which of the following statement must always be true? So 1 is true, 3 is true. It's always true. For example, A is context free. Now this need not be true. For example, 3 also need not be true always, because if A is context free, for example, I take A power n, B power n, C power m. This is context free. Now the subset of this I will take subset of this I will take A power n, B power n, C power n, which is a subset of A, but this is not context free. So this is not also true always. Sometimes it may be true, but this is also going to be true. So your answer is 1. A. Next. So we are given with a grammar, and which of the following are true? This grammar will give you SA or AS, then SS. Because of this, it is going to be ambiguous. You can find more than one derivation, and your B can end your S can give you A's, or it can give you B's also, and those B's can be anywhere. So if this is AS, then you can go for SCA and so on. So B's can be inserted anywhere. So this is ambiguous, and you can generate AA, BB, AA. So you can generate AA, BB, AA, and regular expression is wrong, because you can generate A, not B A star, you can generate A star B also, A star B, because some A's and followed by B also can be generated. So this is wrong. 1 and 2 are correct. 1 and 2 are always true. Next, consider the following grammar G. So we have a grammar, and which of the following is L of G, the language generated. Now if you look at this, the only production available for S is A. So if you start your production, it always be like this. That means you will get at least one A. One A is compulsory. One A is compulsory. Then now if you look at the productions of A, then this A can be replaced with AA or BB. Now let me see what happens if I replace this A with the AA. That means you can have, now A can generate AA or AAA. Suppose I keep on using this, then you get some number of A's. Or if you start with A to BB, it A to BB. So then it will go to B. Right? So A can give you A star, then followed by B. Now what B can give is no B's at all, or B. That means some number of B's, and you can end your B with the C or CC. So what this B can give you is A star B. B can give you at least one B or C. So no B at all. But from A, if you come to B, at least one B will be there. So what do you get? B, then B star C. This B can give you B star C, small c. Now what C can give? At least one C or another C star. One C, B can give one C or C followed by C. And this variable C can give you one C or any number of C's. So what you get is C star. That means this S will give you at least one A followed by A. So what you are getting now is S will generate at least one A followed by A star, and A will give you at least one B followed by B star, because B can give you B star, or one C followed by C star, any numbers. That means what is this? A star, B star, C star. That is the language. A star, B star, C star. This is the language. Or in other words, you can see this is a regular grammar. This is a regular grammar. If you draw FA, you can get it, but you can simply get it by observation. Next. Consider the following set of languages: L1 equal to A power M, B power N equal to M square. A power M, B power M, C power M, D power N. A power M, B power M, C power M, D. Which one of the following is not context free? This is not context free because your stack cannot check whether N equal to M square or not. There is no way of checking whether N is M square or not. This is also not context free because you cannot check whether the A's and B's and C's are equal at a time. You can check B's with C's or A's with B's or A's with C's, but not 3. This is context free. You can check A's with B's, then C's with this. So this is context free. These two are not context free. So L1 and L2 are which one of the above languages is not context free? So L1 and L2 are not context free. Next, L1 has the following grammar: S to AB or BA, then A to BAA or AS or A, then B to BS or AB. If you look at this grammar I have generated while discussing the context free grammars concept. This is nothing but C. If you look at L1, look at L1. if it is A, now the variable is B. If it is B, the variable is A. Right? When you see the productions of B, it is giving you 1B or 1B followed by S. If B can give 1A, one more B is added. 2Bs are added. So B can give you 1B. So these 2Bs, 2Bs, 1A and 1A, 2As. That means this is the grammar for equal number of A's and B's. If you look at this, this is equal to equal number of A's and B's. Right? For B, it is the same. BA and A. If you add 1B, then 2 more A's. Otherwise, 1A and go back to S. Right? So this is the grammar for equal number of A's and B's. And L2 is L1 is NA of X equal to NB of X. Now what about L2? SBA or A. If you look at L2, you always get BA, BA, BA any number of times, and finally you have one. Right? Now which of the following statement is true? Now L3 equal to L1 intersection L2. So L1 intersection L2. L1 intersection L2 means number of A's is equal to number of B's in L1, and in L2 A, B, A star. That means number of A's is always 1 extra. And L4 equal to L1, L1 star. Both L3 and L4 are not context free. When you go for intersection, the intersection of two context free languages is not context free. Right? The intersection is 5 for in this case. In this case, L1 intersection L2 is 1A and that is 5. Right? Now both L3 and L4 are not L1, L1 star. If you look at L1, L1 is context free and L2 is regular. L2 is regular. That is what you have to observe here. L1 is context free language. Both L3, L4 are not context free. Now if you look at L4 equal to L1, L1 star, the regular languages are closed under star and also concatenation. And every regular language is a context free language. So L4 is context free and L1 intersection L2 regular language and context free language, their intersection is regular. L3 is context free but not L4. Both L3 and L4 are context free. And L4 is context free but not L3. So this is correct. Because every regular language is a context free language. But this cannot be true because sometimes. But in this case it is true. But in sometimes it cannot be true. Okay. So L4 is context free but not L3. You can go for this option always. But in this case, both are context free languages. Only in this case it is true. Intersection of a context free language and regular language is regular. Right. Next. Which of the following languages can't be accepted by a deterministic PDA? The set of palindromes over an alphabet A, B, it cannot be accepted by a deterministic PDA because it has to make a guess. The set of strings of balanced parentheses, this we have designed a deterministic PDA. And this can be accepted by a deterministic PDA because there is a center marker. And this can also be accepted by DPDA, because after zeros, if you see 1, then you can start your matching, right? So which of the following language can't be accepted? So you for this you cannot accept this language, you cannot accept with a DPDA. Next, which language does the following PDA accept? So if you look at this, all your 0 is pushing X onto the stack, and when 1 is seen, it is changing the state, but X is kept as it is. So when you see 1, it is not doing anything with the stack contents, but it is changing the state. Once it changes the state to Q1, it is always looking at 1 and X is erased. So all ones are erased, only 1 is not erasing 1 0. And when you are in Q1 and your input is over Z0, it is going to Q0 epsilon, and there are no final states, and it is going to Q0. So when zeros and they are equal, so when zeros and ones are equal, then it is accepting. So what do you get now is actually this is wrong. This question, if you go to Q0 and you get one more 0, you get an equal number of zeros and equal number of ones. But anyway, it's a subset. So what you can have is this by null store. So you can accept by null store, and once again you can go back. So this is 0 power n, 1 power n. Actually, it is whole star, but you can go for A. It's the now equal to 1. But this is a subset. Not 0, because your stack is emptied only after entering into Q1. So you have to go for greater than or equal to 1. But still, this is not correct. In the options, something is not given because it is null store. It can go to Q0, but you can get once again 0 and so on. It can push, right? So this is one of the options that is correct. Next, the following CFG S2 AB or BA, S2 AB or BA, then this is already we have seen. It will generate the equal number of A's and B's. It will generate the, let me see, AB or BA, equal number of A's and B's with at least one A and one B. It is not odd number, so it will generate equal number of A's and B's with at least one A and one B. Next, consider the grammar consisting of 7 productions: A to AE, ABB, then this, and then this. After elimination of unit productions, useless, and lambda productions, how many productions remain in the resulting grammar? If you observe this grammar, what I am observing is S to AA, then ABB, then A to A is a nullable variable, right? Then B to BB, BBC, C to B. So if you observe the productions of B and C, if you want to apply the procedure, you can apply, but by observation, you can see that B is not live. Look at this, B is not live. B to BB, but actually that is not the procedure. Original procedure is you have to eliminate null productions, then you have to eliminate unit productions, and so on. but still on the observation I can say that B and C cannot generate anything. Right? B and C cannot generate anything. So what I can do is I can eliminate this 2 and I can simply keep S2 AA, then A B B. This is not required because B is not useful. So S2 AA and A2 AAA, then lambda means epsilon. Now nullable variables are A to epsilon. So I can eliminate. So what I get is S2 AA or A because A is nullable. Then A to AAA or A. So I'm left with how many productions? 4 productions, right? But don't do this when you are not familiar with all those concepts of useless variables, live variables, dead variables, and so on. You need to do in the order. Elimination of unit productions followed by elimination of useless variables. Next, L1 and L2 are two languages over sigma star. Which of the following statements is true? What is your L? If you look at L, sigma star minus L1 means L1 complement union. Sigma star minus L2 means L2 complement. This is my L, and you can observe that this is equal to sigma star minus this is nothing but L1 complement union L2 complement whole complement, or in other words L1 complement is L1 intersection L2, De Morgan's law, right? So your L is now L1 intersection L2. L is necessarily CFL, L may or may not be CFL. This is true. This is not true because intersection, the context-free languages L1 and L2 are not closed end. L1 and L2 are CFLs, but intersection may be CFL or may not be CFL. This is one case, and L is a subset or equal to L1. So when you look at L is L1 intersection L2, obviously you can see that L is a subset or equal to L1. So this is true. So 2 and 3 are true, but 1 is not. In the other one, next one. What is the regular expression for the language generated? S to AS or BA? Then, so what if you use the productions of S to AS? So AS, you use one more time, what do you get? AAS. You use one more time, you get AAS, and so on. That means, or if it can go for S to BA directly, or it can go for S to BA directly, or after going this it can go for this. That means you get A star, then 1B compulsory, 1B is compulsory, then A. Then what is A? A is giving you D or CCA. CCA. So this A, let me see what A generates. A can generate single D or CCA, then CCA, and so on. That means it is generating even number of C's, CC whole star, and it can generate. So what is my A? So A star B, and this A can generate, or it is capable of generating this. So A star B CC star B. This is the regular expression. Otherwise, you have to draw FA for this regular grammar, and then you have to generate if you are unable to see this way of derivation. Otherwise, you need to use the FA. You have to draw FA for this. How do you draw? We start here. S is my initial state, then S to AS, right? Or S to B, A, then what is A? A to D, A to D, and that is going to be a final state. Else, it can just have C and then C, C and then C. See? So A star, B, C, C star, D. Right? This is pure regular. Either you can go for this or you can go for this. Right? This is how you can. Then consider the grammar S to PQ, SQ, PS, and P to X, Q to Y. To get the string of n terminals, the number of productions to be used is, if you look at the grammar, this grammar is in CNF. Only thing is you have X and Y are terminals. So this grammar is in CNF. Now, for a grammar which is in CNF, if it wants to generate the string of n terminals, you require 2n minus 1 productions, because it's a binary tree. Look at this. If you want to say 1, then it should be S to 1 terminal. If you don't, you want 2, then what you have to do is, first you have to go for S to some 2 variables, say V1, V2, then this can give you 1 and this can give you 1. That means how many? 1. This is one application. One application of S2, V1, V2 is one application. Then this is another one and this is another one. This is 2. Suppose you want 3, then it should be something like this, V1, V2, and this V1, V2, they will give you some other variable, say V3, V4. This may give you one terminal, one terminal, one terminal. So one application, then this is another application, right? V1, so 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, right? So if you want 3, it should be 5. So in general, it is 2n minus 1 because it's a binary tree and the leaf nodes will be terminals. That is why we have normal forms. Then consider the following two statements: 0 power 2n. So this is a regular language, because you can see 0 power 2n means it's a even number of zeros, and we have n greater than or equal to 1. Then 0 power m, 1 power m, 0 power m plus n. M and n is a regular language. This is not a regular language. So this is a false statement. Now, which of the following statements is correct? Only S1 is correct. S2 is wrong. So your answer is A. Then, which of the following statements is true? If a language is context free, it can always be accepted by a deterministic push down automata. No, this is not true, because there are some context free languages which you cannot accept by a deterministic push down automata. You require a non-deterministic PDA. For example, the language of palindromes. So this is not true. The union of two context free languages is context free. This is true. The intersection of two context free languages is context free. This is wrong, because they are not closed under intersection. The complement of a context free language is context free. This is not true. So only B is true. Okay, B is true. Then the language accepted by a push down automata in which the stack is limited to 10 items. When you limit this stack to 10, then it is best described as regular, because there is a limitation for the memory. So it is going to be a regular language. In this language, A power m, B power m plus n. M comma n is not less than or equal to. It should be greater than or equal to. There is a typing mistake. So this is a context-free language. It's a context-free, but it is not regular. You know, it's context sensitive. It's context-free, but not regular. So we'll stop here, and tomorrow we'll continue. Thank you.